UBC, inspiring Uganda. Up next on UBC, brought to you by
Airtel. Download Airtel TV to watch and support Ugandan talent on The Voice Africa every Sunday at 8 p.m.
A very good evening and a warm welcome to our second edition of UBC News tonight on this first day of June 2023. I'm Lorraine Masika Kazimoto. Now, before we delve into tonight's news bulletin, let's first take a look at the top stories tonight. Now, in our top stories tonight, President Museveni lectures NRM MPs on wealth creation. Police urge pilgrims to move in groups to avoid accidents, bad elements. Kazimba Mugalu hails President Museveni over signing anti-homosexuality bill. And police meet border leaders over security ahead of Martyrs' Day. Good evening once again. I'm Lorraine Masika Kazimoto. Now, in our first headlining story this evening, President Museveni has emphasized the importance of leaders actively promoting wealth creation among their constituents. He acknowledged the richness of Uganda's natural resources and urged the populace to embrace modern, calculated and commercial farming practices to participate in the money economy. The president said this while engaging with NRM members attending a retreat in Kwanzi. During this session, Museveni also shed light on the recent attack on a Ugandan army base in Somalia, attributing it to soldiers who were ill prepared for combat. We have more in this report.
We are talking essentially of two things. First of all, changing our people from tradition to middle class economics, to money economy. But secondly, NRM point number 5 of the 10 points, building an economy which is integrated, independent and self-sustaining. That meaning value addition. This is what we are talking about. We are talking about a new economy. We are not talking about the old economy. The colonial economy had introduced a little bit of cash activities, but very limited and restricted to raw materials only. So once you are convinced that your people can modernize through commercial farming, then when you come to the government, to the caucus, you bring the bottlenecks that are blocking your people. Like in this case, if it is more dams, you bring the dams so that we dig more dams. If it is solar-powered irrigation, you bring it up so that your people, all of them, get into wealth creation. But the mistake you are making is you don't address those. Instead, you address roads. Yes, roads are important, but what do you transport on the roads? Because even when the roads are there, you have nothing you are transporting. Because, for instance, we tarmac the road from Soroti to Moroto, all the way. And the other time I was in Katakwi, I found them drying cassava along the road on the tarmac. But this road is not for drying cassava this road is for transporting wealth. So what wealth are you transporting along this road? But back in Otuke, those people are still going to the well for water. Even when we make a borehole, they go to share it. The children are still riding their mothers on the back. The mothers are still cooking with firewood. Now, is it correct for us to build a society of two types? The we of piped water and the ones of
hundreds of pilgrims from Eastern region who are the hosts of the Matters Day celebration at the Anglican Shrine have arrived at Namgongo Anglican Matters Shrine. In celebrations and illusions, the celebrants were hailed for perseverance over the past weeks, moving distances. It is at the same event that the Right Reverend Kazimba Mugalu hailed both Parliament and President Yoweri Museveni signing the anti-homosexuality bill.
Honor and respect family. These were the key highlights of the Right Reverend Dr. Kazimba Mugalu as he welcomed pilgrims from all walks of life at the Anglican Matters Shrine. Kazimba was ecstatic over the anti-homosexuality bill that was recently passed by President Yoweri Museveni and Parliament, said that the country belongs to God, calling on Christians never to compromise on matters of faith, just like the Matters.
These men who are killed here, they refuse to compromise, to worship the gods of this world. They refused to do things which were contrary. I hear even homosexuality was there. They refused. So now, if we compromise our faith here, we are betraying these younger men who died here. Let me call upon Ugandans as we celebrate this year's Uganda Matters. Let us keep the faith. Let us not compromise. Let us not be threatened by all things, especially after the president sending his signature to this law to protect our children. There is a lot of threats, but I think what should be taken, that this is to protect our children.
The Eastern region, who are the host of this year's celebrations, said that the organization at the newly refurbished shrine are top-notch, thanking all who contributed to the noble cause. The new Anglican Matters Shrine has been refurbished with features that include the killing site known as Nachianja, the holding cell where the condemned were kept, the pile where the condemned were burnt, and the torture tree known as Ndazabazade. It is for this reason that for many years, thousands, including Anglican, Catholics and others, move miles celebrating the heroes of faith who died for their religion. Ngabo Amon, reporting for UBC TV.
Now, the 400-member choir has promised to deliver a thrilling performance come Saturday when Christians in Uganda as a whole will mark the Martyrs' Day in commemoration of the 45 men who were slain for their faith. Reverend Michael Okwi, the Bishop of Kumi Diocese, says organizing this choir offered an opportunity to tap into the different abilities and cultures, and come Saturday, pilgrims should expect the very best.
Choir members from the 10 dioceses of Eastern Uganda, a region charged with the responsibility of animating this year's Anglican Matters Day celebrations, is upbeat about the D-Day as it finalizes tryouts. The end result is for this team to deliver performance worth of pioneers, the first to host celebrations in the newly constructed amphitheater. The cluster music director says the choristers have had enough preparations to deliver to the expectations of all revelers come Saturday.
Choirs are singing in harmony, and it is going to be very thrilling. And when we are opening, when they sing Stand Up for Jesus, that will be a song to introduce the whole service, which is going to be a procession. And the Karamojongo team is going to lead with a kind of a dance with attire that they will toss like the way a ram. A ram has got a very big tail. When it moves, it swings. So they are going to swing like that. That is going to be very interesting.
Then the bag issue, we want to see them do the cardon if they can. The basoga, we want them in this singing here. If there's anything, they can put the kisoga thing. All those cultural backgrounds, because our Lord is the Lord of all cultures. There's no culture that's supreme. All cultures submit to the Lordship of Jesus Christ. Yes, so all cultures, and He's the one who created them. Yes, and we want to magnify that in our worship and celebration.
Ateso in Bewayo, we also have left them for verse 2 to sing in Ateso, so that you see that Bewayo had on in Uganda from time to time can be sung in other languages. We are actually encouraging other people in this country to change that Bewayo into their language.
The music director for Wukedi Diocese sees this as an opportunity to unite Christians and the people of Eastern Uganda.
Some of these songs were made by one person, selected by one person, for the sake of unity. So you will find that all the choirs come and singing the same songs as if they were trained together. What are we doing? We are saying Eastern should be united. Uganda should be united. Because if we are able to unite all the tribes in Eastern region singing one song, then you know that's unity.
The choir comprises of members from the 10 dioceses of Busoga, Central Busoga, Wukedi, Kumi, Mbale, North Mbale, Soroti, Karamoja, North Karamoja, and Sebei. This year's Matters Day celebrations are to be held under the theme United for Service and Growth. Dorcas Kimono, UBC TV News.
Thank you, Dorcas Kimono. Now, as the Catholic Church prepares to commemorate the Uganda Matters Day, the historic and remarkable role played by St. Joseph Balukudembe in shaping today's solid foundation of the Catholic Church and Christian faith in Uganda can't be underrated. St. Balukudembe was among the first martyrs to be executed on the orders of Kabaka Mwanga II. However, his contributions can be remembered and basically can be summarized in 4 areas. First, martyr to be killed killed. He baptized Ssekabaka Mutesa I while on his deathbed on Sunday, 19th October 1884 at Nabulagala at 11 a.m. He was among the first Catholic converts in Uganda and also saved Ssekabaka Mutesa I's life from a big snake which had attacked him. We have more in this profile.
This year's Uganda Matters theme is Lord, Increase Our Faith. It is derived from Luke 17:5. The theme fits well in the story of St. Joseph Balikudembe, one of the 22 martyrs who shedded their blood for their faith in Jesus Christ and eventually proclaiming him as a saint. Born in 1860 in Maokota to one Mazinga of the Kayozi clan, Giant Rat, and Kujayo, a Munyoro mother, Balikudembe was brought to Kabaka Mutesa's palace, where he served as one of the palace pages at the age of 14 in 1874. Lawrence Nganda, a catechist with St. Balikudembe Chisenyi Parish, a parish which was named after the martyr, explains the significance and role of St. Joseph Balikudembe in shaping today's Catholic Church and faith.
So, Balikudembe as our patron saint in this parish, we look upon his life while he was serving the king. In those days, this Balikudembe could gather as the first Saba Christu of the Christian in those days. He used to gather the Christians, he used to gather the Catholics and catechize them.
The parish is also responsible for the famous St. Balikudembe Memorial Shrine behind the present-day St. Balikudembe Market, commonly referred to as Kuchijokizo. The shrine has since then been elevated to a sub-parish level. Catechist Nganda also gives us insight on some of the miraculous powers of the saint.
So even in our days today, when we pray, when we intercede through this man, Balikudembe, everything of ours becomes at peace.
Meanwhile, Nganda and his counterpart Gerald Walugembe Chalimpa of Holy Spring Sub-Parish reveal that the story of St. Balikudembe cannot be completed without involving the supportive role played by his friends St. Atanasi Bazeketa and Yowana Maria Museveni, who were killed in the same parish with Balikudembe.
So this place is a martyrdom site of 3 martyrs. We have St. Balikudembe as the first martyr in Uganda, followed by Atanas Bazekuketa.
Tell you people are giving testimonies. We invite you to come. Those who have come for Namugongo, I could request that may the Holy Spirit inspire you, that you don't miss Uganda or go to your mother places without coming to Yowana Maria Museveni. Come to the well. The well is so wonderful.
St. Balikudembe Chisenyi Parish, unlike other parishes with one patron saint, is unique in that it has 3 patron saints because of its history: Joseph Balikudembe, Yowana Maria Museveni, and Atanasi Bazeketa. Some believers who we found fetching water at St. Yowana Maria Museveni Shrine, Holy Spring, and those found praying at St. Balikudembe Monument Shrine have miraculous healing testimonies to share. Due to the growing tourist and historical significance of the Yowana Maria Museveni Holy Spring, Kampala Ecclesiastical Archdiocese has plans of redeveloping and expanding the place to accommodate the increasing number of pilgrims.
The plan is going on. It has already been approved by the Archdiocese to see that it can lift up this place to the standard which makes somebody pray very well.
However, Balikudembe as a person is still remembered by his personal achievements, like being the first Catholic convert in Buganda. Balikudembe, after being converted by Father Laudel Mapera and trained as a catechist, he baptized Kabaka Mutesa I on Sunday 19th October 1884 at 11 a.m. while he was on his deathbed. Despite of this, Balikudembe will forever be remembered for having saved Kabaka Mutesa's life from a big snake which had attacked him, pleading for the life of Bishop Hannington in vain, and being the first martyr to be killed among others.
Oh, this man being Balikudembe, he came, he stood and catch this snake, he killed the snake. So when the king ordered the bishop to be killed, this man Balikudembe is the only man who came and talked to the king.
Jinja Catholic Diocese will be leading this year's celebrations on behalf of Tororo Ecclesiastical Archdiocese. I'm Navka Farida and Juko Collins.
Pilgrimage to Uganda Matters Shrine has continued, with many nearing their final destination. But as thousands descend upon Namugongo, the message to Ugandans is still to fully embrace the sacrifice of the martyrs to better society.
There is no single bank holiday in Uganda that brings together people at one particular location in throngs, like the Martyrs Day, which is celebrated on 3rd June.
These are our patron saints we love so much, who have done us a lot. As Uganda Matters has Kurubaga, we celebrate this day in a special way. Some of our members go to Namugongo to join the rest of the church. Others remain here at school, and we celebrate the day with various activities.
Yet again, many have already set foot, while others are on their way to Namugongo Shrine to be part of this year's celebrations. The gesture of working for their faith is commended by many, with appeal to others in Uganda to borrow the sacrifice of the martyrs to fight vices like corruption.
We pray that this whole Uganda Matters may continue to pray for us, that we may fight all these unbecoming acts, unbecoming behaviors, so that we may follow what Christ gives us to follow.
Meanwhile, JIT Primary School, which is Muslim founded, has also ensured it instills faith amongst its learners at an early age with a visit to the Namugongo Shrine.
And we show these students how these people were murdered, how these people were strangled, how these people were killed. They also have to admit and say, indeed, these people died for our faith. It really builds the children's faith, and it also builds the discipline in the children, because we need to grow up these children in faith to ensure that they have a good discipline.
We have come here to visit our ancestors in faith, the Uganda Matters, especially our patron Saint Kizitomto. We are here to ask him to enable us pass our in force and enable us to give us wisdom, courage and everything.
Nga tuzze okulaba ku bajulizi baffe naddala Saint Kizitomto nga tuwebaza Mukama atuwadde obulamu okutuuka eno nga tukyali balamu, era tumusaba atuwe obulamu tuddeyo nga tuli balungi.
Muslims, Catholics and Anglicans all honor Martyrs Day because many from each faith were killed on orders of Kabaka Mwanga.
UBC News tonight. Now, members of the opposition sphere have awakened the philosophy of electoral reforms in a bid to achieve what they described as a free and fair political ground in Uganda. Led by the leader of opposition in parliament, the workshop happening in Munyonyo, Kampala, decries continuous manipulation of the constitution over time, which has crippled growth in the political environment in Uganda. Among the take-home messages was a call to avoid any reform of injustice to the constitution of Uganda, drawing examples from the history of Uganda's politics.
A workshop for the opposition members of parliament on constitutional and electoral reforms is happening in Kampala and highly attended by the top leaders subscribing to the opposition in Uganda, spearheaded by the LOP, Matthias Mpuuga.
Our requirement to meet cannot be any more urgent than now. Even if we met for a holiday and quarrel as the opposition, it is okay. So that at the end of the quarrel, we find a new motivation and fresh perspective. Very, very important.
The leaders deliberated on the history of Uganda's politics since independence to aid the conversation of bridging the gaps in what they called historical injustice and manipulation of the constitution.
We have a duty, ladies and gentlemen, to collectively give direction because all of us have an equal stake in this, our country. Our country needs us at this defining time, and each of us must honorably and decently play their role.
Professor Mwambusia Ndebesa, an old-hand lecturer of history at Makerere University, shared with the leaders the foundation principles of a concrete constitution, tasking leaders to avoid selfish interests while making amendments in the law.
That a checklist of foundational principles of the constitution be prepared by some members of parliament, maybe with the assistance of some technical experts. You who are gathered here, you can prepare those foundational principles, and they are laid on the table in parliament. And if adopted, they become a guide for future constitutional amendments.
But the respondents argue that achieving the standard rules in formulating reforms in the constitution in Uganda comes at a cost.
For example, we have some of the best anti-corruption laws in the world. Not Africa, but the world. But every year Transparency International is ranking us as one of the most corrupt states.
What should we do as opposition to make sure we overcome such kind of manipulation? Aware that in the 10th Parliament, opposition voted against the 7 years extension.
This is my judgment, that as a country, as a nation, we do not have conditions that can guarantee writing a new constitution founded on that concrete, anchored on that concrete foundation you're talking about.
Professor Ndebesa wants the leaders to name and shame bad actors spoiling the constitution and preach the gospel against what they call military involvement in electoral process of the country.
What is important here is political corruption, abuse of public office for political gain, not necessarily economic gain, for political gain. Can you please bring up those issues in parliament? People abusing political office for? Are we saying the constitution alone will solve the problems? No. We should also go and preach the gospel against using the military in political competition.
Leaders of political parties including JEMA, FDC, and Democratic Party were in attendance in the two-day workshop happening in Munyonyo, Kampala. Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gwitabinji, UBC News.
The Anti-Corruption Magistrate Court has set June 15, 2023 to resume the hearing of charges of corruption and conspiracy to defraud government against the Minister for Karamoja Affairs, Dr. Mary Goreti Chitutu, her personal assistant, and her brother, Michael Naboya Chitutu. The prosecution, led by Jonathan Muaganya, informed court that the investigation into the matter is still ongoing and asked court to give them more time. The defense legal team, led by Jude Vyamukama, did not oppose the application.
Court 2 forward the file, so the proper person to address is the DR. At 9 a.m. for mention, all bail extended. 2 forward the file, so the proper person to address is the DR. You write to the DR. before we have the matter adjourned, yesterday I received a letter from
Now, President Yoweri Museveni has challenged Ugandans to emulate the late Constance Kabonero in fostering patriotism and promoting of good family values. The State Minister for Agriculture, Lieutenant Colonel Bright Ramirama, was speaking at the Requiem service for the late Constance Kabonero at All Saints Cathedral. Archbishop Kazimba Mugalu led the service, assisted by the Cathedral Provost Canon Rebecca Nye and several other clergies. We have more details in this report.
Has been called to serve, but you must serve God's purposes, and you must do it in your own generation. Because the time will come when you can't do it. Speaker and all your people in Parliament, thank you for serving Uganda in this generation of God's purpose. To ensure that we protect the children. But also the President did us well to sign because he has done it in his own time, to save the children.
Kabonero educated their children. She was very active in the church and also in NRM. She, together with other elders, trained as LDUs at Rwentanga when the NRM came to power in 1986. Their joining the LDU helped to control crime in the area, which had claimed the lives of Mugasha, Katutsi, and others in the area.
A unifying factor. When you get married, things are not always rosy. But my mother believed in the marriage institution strongly. In the vows you make, that no matter what happens, you keep them. And in a way, that's why this man is still here with me.
The Ministry of Water and Environment have launched the demarcation exercise of all wetlands in Kagadi district in a bid to restore the degraded wetlands and natural resources. The exercise started with the demarcating of boundaries of Hodwa Swamp, a main tributary to River Muzizi in Kagadi district.
An assessment conducted in February 2023 indicates that Hondwa wetland, a tributary of Muzizi wetland system in Kagadi district, is one of the hot spots currently facing severe encroachment by the surrounding communities. The wetland has been earmarked for boundary demarcation and concrete pillars have been used.
We are going on to sensitize them and have some meetings in villages, parishes.
The senior wetlands officer, Minister of Water and Environment, Daniel Musinge, clarified that the wetland demarcation exercise will cover the whole country in a bid to restore the natural biodiversity.
Where we have put our marker, the demarcation point, we request that the activities being done down, please, you have to get permission. However, there are some other domestic uses, like getting the clay, getting water, getting vegetation.
Businje also says the exercise is not discriminative. In the event one violates the processes, will be subjected to a penalty of 600 million shillings or be imprisoned for 12 years or serve both.
What we request is that people should respect the activity we are doing, because we are doing it for the benefit of all of us, for our country, for the present and future generations.
The Internal Security Officer, Kagadi District, Wilson Mwiranda, explained that the communities have encroached on wetlands and this has changed the patterns of rain supply across the country.
Mingi muno kulinda amaizi nebindi byona koko mukubimanya na materials, local materials twihambisa yomu.
Kagadi District Environment Officer Gerald Biona says after the demarcation exercise, the Environment and Natural Resources Department will develop a wetland management plan that will guide them on activities that can be conducted in the restored wetlands.
A wetland management plan. Then that wetland management plan will give us points of action through which we identify activities or enterprises which can be carried out within the buffer zone, those which can favor the existence of that wetland.
According to the National Wetlands, Riverbanks and Lake Shores Management Act, a person who shifts concrete pillars erected to demarcate wetland boundaries is fined 600 million shillings or serve 12 years imprisonment or both.
All right, UBC News Tonight is taking a very short break, but we'll return after these messages.
Ebiseera by'okuzaayo abaana mu masomero tebiteekwa kukaluubiriza n'akatono. Eno kusimba nnyiriri mpanvu, kano kalipagano ka bidduka. Simanyi kuzunga na banka siripsi? Kati osobola okusasula school fees z'omwana wo ate n'okola n'ebirala ntoko ku ssimu ye ey'omu ngalo. Ekikola kyangu nnyo. Nyiga bunyizi *165*8 ogoberera ebikulagiriddwa oba okozese app ya MTN Momo. Ate kati okola ki olwaleero? MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited erungamizibwa banka enkulu eya Uganda.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
Their support meant so much to me. And as a teenage girl, I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.
Did you know that you can safely and conveniently make your school fees payments anytime, any school, anywhere using Airtel Money? Oh yes! Simply pick up your phone and dial *185#. Select option 6, school fees. Choose between school pay, peg pay, or shore pay. Enter student number. Enter amount, confirm name and transaction. Enter Airtel Money PIN. A confirmation message will be sent to you upon a successful transaction. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
The Ministry of Health will conduct yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign for all persons aged 9 months up to 60 years. These people should have never been vaccinated against yellow fever. The yellow fever campaign will be conducted in phases, with the first phase covering districts in the regions of Arua, Gulu, Lira, Kabare, Kabarole, and Hoima. The campaign will begin on the 9th of June and end on the 13th of June 2023 and will be conducted in all government health facilities and outreach posts. All parents and caregivers are requested to take their children aged 9 months to the nearest health facility and outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever disease. All adults aged up to 60 years but have never been vaccinated should go to health facilities and vaccination outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever. Ministry of Health calls upon everybody to report any person who presents with signs and symptoms such as yellowing of eyes, fever, headache, muscle pain, feeling of vomiting or nausea, vomiting, and general body weakness or fatigue fatigue to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately for medical attention. This could be yellow fever. Yellow fever vaccine is a single dose given once in a lifetime. The yellow fever vaccine is safe, effective, and free. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Gavi and partners.
Welcome back from that break, and we're glad that you're still with us. Now, more in UBC News tonight. The government of Uganda, with support from Japan and Sasakawa Africa Association, are jointly building a bulk storage facility and donated agro-processing machinery to cooperative farmers in Aleppotolim parish in Lopoko sub-county in Napak district. Now, this collaborative efforts aims at reducing post-harvest losses and to enhance agricultural profitability through community-based collective action.
Standing challenges faced by farmers in the Karamoja sub-region. Project implementers aim at supporting 2,735 farmers in Napak and Kole districts. This initiative focuses on revitalizing and strengthening multi-purpose agricultural cooperatives in this part of northern Uganda.
We are doing this for purposes of ensuring that farmers can be able to bulk their produce, but at the same time we are also going to establish a milling center because they have been moving more than 20 kilometers to have their maize milled. So we think by us establishing this, we are providing an opportunity for them to have a place where they can mill for home consumption, but at the same time milling to tap into the existing market opportunities with the projects like World Food Program under the school feeding program. They can be able to mill and sell.
Subsequent training on post-harvest market and productivity are envisioned to guarantee sustainable agriculture, as highlighted by the lead market-oriented agriculture officer at Sasakawa.
We are also going to work hard to make sure that we are linking them with other microfinance institutions, other partners like insurance companies, agro-input companies, so that they are able to get other services that are not here.
Interventions by Sasakawa and other NGOs in the agricultural sector help the government gradually eradicate poverty by supplementing government initiatives.
I want to thank the partners that have come up to support the broader government program of graduating these subsistence farmers into commercial farmers. And we are seeing some steps being recorded.
This is Modona Talina, a farmer and head of farmers in Apeitolim sub-county. She says their oxen are usually raided and middlemen take a large portion of their money, especially after harvesting.
Farmers used to live this life of broadcasting, which by the end of the year, in 1 acre, someone gets 2 acres, two bags of 200 kilograms. But now when Sasakawa brought so many skills into us, someone is getting 7, 8, 9 to 10 bags in 1 acre. The coming years to come, the place will be changed more than even before.
Wadulo Mark Arnold, UBC News in Karamoja.
Water vandalism has been highlighted as the major challenge that incapacitates the ability of the National Water and Sewage Corporation, hence affecting service delivery to Ugandans. This was communicated by Engineer Johnson Amayo during a courtesy visit of the Parliamentary Committee of Parastatal Bodies of Zambia at the National Water and Sewage Corporation offices in Bugolobi.
Legislators from the Parliamentary Committee of Parastatal Bodies from the National Assembly of Zambia have visited National Water and Sewage Corporation International Resource Water Center in Bugolobi to discuss issues regarding the water sector. The committee was received by Engineer Johnson Amayo on behalf of the National Water and Sewage Corporation Executive Director, Engineer Dr. Silva Mugisha, who first toured the wastewater treatment plant. In an engagement, Engineer Amayo explained to the committee the strategic interventions of the corporation targeting to reach 100% coverage of water across the country.
Development rather than consumption behavior. Most of the things that we are trying to do, we focus more on the infrastructure development to ensure that we are able to grow the business. But we also have the belief that many things we can do them ourselves. There are products which National Water currently is doing.
He, however, said water vandalism is at a high rate in the country, which affects the ability of the corporation as regards service delivery to Ugandans.
The non-revenue water goes beyond 30%. We're fighting it. There are people who are adulterating meters. They do all sorts of things. People steal water. So it's a big challenge. It is something which requires us to, as Ugandans, to appreciate that these services involve a cost.
The committee commended National Water and Sewage Corporation for the exit work done in ensuring equitable water supply to Ugandans. However, made inquiries on how the corporation is one entity body of water supply, unlike in Zambia.
In Zambia, we have 11 commercial utilities, and these commercial utilities are regulated by one body, which we call NWASCO. Of course, the regulation is to simply give guidance of the parameters within which the commercial utilities operate.
It, however, promised to take some of the interventions to Zambia. As the chairman Parliamentary Committee on Parastate Affairs in Zambia, Brian Kambita explains.
And we are elated to learn that you also use a method to try and treat water, especially in some places where you are in smaller plants, where you are using common salt to actually extract chlorine, which is used for treating water, an initiative which actually reduces on the imports of the chemicals that you need to treat water.
Rebecca Nantongo, Ivan Joko, UBC News.
The Ministry of Works and Transport has launched the Parish Development Model Pillar 2, which entails infrastructure and economic services. Minister Katumba Wamala has urged line ministries and government departments and agencies to incorporate Pillar 2 in their development arrangements.
The first pillar of the parish development model focused on the production, storage, processing and marketing to improve household incomes. The Ministry of Works and Transport has launched the second pillar of the model, which focuses on establishing reliable infrastructure to facilitate and sustain fruits of the first pillar.
Is aimed at ensuring reliable infrastructure and economic services for production and marketing by undertaking the 10 pillar activities.
Approach of integrated multi-sectoral community activities with full community participation, together with the principles of inclusivity, equity, evidence-based decision-making, coordination and collaboration, as well as transparency and accountability that call for maintenance of high standards is reflected in the manual.
This second pillar of PDM is chaired by the Ministry of Works and Transport, with other ministries like Water and Environment, ICT and National Guidance, Local Government, and Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. These are mandated to extend social services towards value addition and market access.
Coordinated, and this is the whole thing, because, for example, you cannot think of producing and taking goods to the market in good time and in good condition if you have no roads. You must have the roads. You cannot talk of producing these days where the environment is challenging us if you cannot be able to have water for irrigation. You cannot expect these people to produce if they're going to suffer from malaria all the 3/4 of the year. So all these agencies and MDAs are coordinated and focusing on delivering services closer to the people and in measurable results at the parish level.
The launched Infrastructure and Economic Services Operation Manual by the Chair Ministry will be adopted by line ministries while implementing the National Development Plan 3.
The envisioned PDM parish will have the basic social services, including, and we know that will come gradually, housing infrastructure, roads, energy, water, supply systems, factories and industries. Because if we have, for example, in one area, if they pick one of the the priorities, and they think they grow a lot of maize, then you'll find that somebody will inevitably put up a maize milling machine. So it's not only addressing those who are below, who are in the poverty line, but it will eventually grow even with those who are already in the money economy.
Parish development model is a development strategy under the National Development Plan 3, which intends to deepen the centralization process in boosting household incomes and improve the quality of life of the 39% Ugandans who still stuck in the subsistence economy. Abdul Nasir Lubwama for UBC.
UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we return after these messages.
Jerry con. Jerry con. Hey, Master Blaster. Touch him, man. Buy Jerry con with muscle. Those ones who say go for you only. Mundava. Best group is I teach you. But never come up with the squad because of the cover is very far. Is you serious? It's just you. What? Yeah? You step it on it. Add kilometers to your legs and you get your sugar. We buy meat from Umaru and Umaru refuse to give you enough meat. Mama! Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru,
okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga awamu teri kitulema.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
She is our family's pride, and as her father, I will protect her from child marriage and talk to her about the dangers of teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and pregnancy, because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.
The Magical Egypt Tour 2023 is here. A heavenly miracle waiting across the natural and divine attractions of Egypt, such as Cairo, Giza Pyramids, Saqqara, Memphis, and many more that will offer the gift of a lifetime. The chance to unlock all of the hidden powers of mind and soul, gain the enlightenment of the past and the future, and develop the power of healing. Departure will be Friday 16th up to 23rd June 2023. Basic package starting at $1,200, 8 days and 7 nights. To register, come to Gotove Tours and Travel at Nalkwego Complex Suta, UG's Extender, George Street, Nakasero, or call +256 758 530 059 or +256 784 568 392 or WhatsApp +256 782 556 078. Only few slots are left. Powered by UBC Television.
Glow as you are with the new Spark 10 series smartphone from Airtel in partnership with Tecno. Own the timelines with picture-perfect selfies using the 32-megapixel selfie camera, 256 GB storage, G88 gaming processor.
The Spark 10 smartphone comes with free 3 GB from Airtel, so you can stay connected to a world of possibilities. Dial *100*5# to enjoy free data.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
In partnership with Tecno. Stop at nothing.
Welcome back from that break. And now into the business scene. Uganda Bureau of Statistics has released a report on child labor rate now at 40%, youth employment at 17%, and highlighted a growth in the informal sector at 90% as of 2021. Executive Director UBOS Godfrey Nabong says the released statistics are to help address issues affecting the sectors and therefore called stakeholders to utilize the report for sustainable economic transformation.
Research indicates that there has been a growth in Uganda's informal sector,
from 82% in the year 2019 to 90% in 2021. The same report also shows that there is need for the country to invest more in youth employment and child labor.
Just to mention that in that report that was disseminated last year in November, child labor was reported to be standing at 40%. Informal employment was at 92%, and youth unemployment 17%. Now, depending on the window at which you look at these figures, mostly they are not pleasant. So this report tries to get into that, which kind of people are doing informality, and in any case, should they be there? So we try to examine this issue of informality, and it's part of what is coming out in the report. And we believe, as the government addresses matters of poverty,
the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Agri David Kibenge, says government has put strategies to enhance the key productions to support youth economically to address the issue of youth unemployment.
We must all work to improve the economy and create more opportunities to engage our skilled people, skilled or even unskilled. But in terms of youth, they are the most productive, and they would be presenting this country with an opportunity.
While releasing the report, the Deputy Executive Director Ubos, Godfrey Nabong, decried the low investment for sustainable delivery since there has been a growth in the informal sector from 82% to 90%, adding that the report helps identify challenges and how to address them.
There is a lot more where the little we bring outcomes from. We only need a little more investment, and we shall be able to generate. This is a strong signal of the strong resolve to promote decent work, social justice, and sustainable development.
The report is addressed to stakeholders and the general public, aimed at strengthening the capacity on labor support and labor survey. Irene Faith Nantongo, Mary Namukose, UBC News.
MTN Uganda has opened its 25 days of Yellow Care program, seeking to extend a hand to Uganda's small-scale entrepreneurs. The Chief Executive Officer, MTN, Sylvia Mulinge, while launching the program in Bwaise, says this year's initiative targets grassroots startups with essential digital and financial tools to reach wider markets.
This 25 days Yellow Care campaign targets startups and small businesses to acquire necessary financial literature and digital knowledge to match market demands.
This year we are focusing on entrepreneurs and how we can be able to empower them so that they're able to do job creation and continue to be able to create economic outcomes that impact the communities that they're in.
Entrepreneurship being key to socio-economic transformation in communities, this initiative is expected to offer business mentorships to developing businesses.
And we'll be able to do with what we have learned in MTN in terms of coming to empower them. So first of all, it's giving them your time and your attention, right? And I think giving people time is a gift, right? And allowing them then to be able to express what are the ideas they have, what are the opportunities that they see, and how can we be able to support them. So
the campaign focuses on reflecting MTN's multifaceted approach to social responsibility.
Most of the time they do not have access to the funds, the financial support, and the skilling that is required to actually take their operations forward and sustain their businesses. And so, as Sylvia said, some of these things we're stepping in to fill that gap.
Beneficiaries from Disability Employment Link Project Uganda highlight how the support rendered is to bolster businesses.
Tulina ideas zetusobola okuteeka mu kintu naye nga tetulina support. Nesinga tuba tufunye support nga MTN bwekoze, Uzia bwekoze, Disability Empowerment bwekoze, kiba kitegeeza ki tujja kuva tubadde tugende ku ddala ki eddala.
This year's program is to run under the theme empowering entrepreneurs to unlock growth and job creation for communities. Lydia Chomkama, UBC News.
And now into the world of sports. Uganda Olympic Committee and its partners have convened at Sheraton Hotel in Kampala for a stakeholder engagement to discuss the Game Connect project first phase closure. The first phase of the Game Connect project has lasted 3 years and is ending in this particular one.
Game Connect is an Olympic Refuge Foundation program based in 5 refugee holding areas of Adjumani, Kampala, Kamwenge, Changwali and Lamo. Its first phase has lasted 3 years on the theme of sport for a better mental health and common identity, with a bold objective of fronting sports as a tool to promote unity and mental health of young people.
We've been able to reach out to over 12,000 young people, refugees and host community in 5 locations of Jumani, Rwamwanja, Alabek, Changwali, Kampala with the urban refugees. And of these 12,000, 70% of them were refugees, 30% of them were from the host community. It was very inclusive in nature, where we had over 49% of them as girls, and the other percentage as boys. We had over 4% of the beneficiaries as youth with disability. And we've realized that sport is really a very important tool to improve the mental health of young people.
It has been enabled by Uganda Olympic Committee and partners like Avis Foundation, UNHCR, Right to Play and Youth Sport Uganda, and funded by Olympic Refuge Foundation.
In terms of our achievements, we have, I would say, done 90%. We had, of course, a few challenges in terms of our implementation, because the time we did the plans, it was before COVID, and then, of course, COVID hit and a few things, of course, had to change. But I would say with the new revised plan that we came up with, post-COVID, we have really achieved a lot.
Everywhere the project went, refugees and the holding community benefited knowledge about taekwondo, football, netball, volleyball, and basketball.
It's good to see the impact that sports has in terms of bringing joy to individuals that are in such a predicament.
The challenges were multiple but uniform across, with lack of infrastructure, equipment and skilled technical personnel highlighted. The project's next phase, that will incorporate education institutions to grow sport for protection activities, is expected to start later this year. John Barnes, Sentinel.
And finally, in the world of sports, the national cricket teams are set to have a busy June as both the senior men and women teams will be participating in regional tournaments. Now, the Cricket Cranes, the men's team, will compete in the inaugural edition of the T20 Continent Cup to be held in Nairobi, Kenya from the 7th to the 21st of June. And the ladies, the Victoria Pearls, will be in the 9th edition of the Kwibuka tournament from the 8th to the 18th of June in Kigali, Rwanda.
After 2 show-stopping performances in the Victoria Series and the Capricorn Series, the Victoria Pearls are set to compete for another title in the 9th edition of the Kwibuka tournament against 4 other nations: Rwanda, Nigeria, Botswana, and Kenya.
It looks light because we are facing people ranked below us, but on the other side we wouldn't want to lose to any of those teams. So it makes the mathematics very hard. We need to do the best as players, and also as a country we need to keep our rankings up there, because we are now the go-getter. Every team is coming for us. So it gives us that momentum of going harder for each and every game that we are going to play in this 9th edition. The team will gain a lot of confidence because almost everyone will get the chance to play, being the previous tournament some players got 1 game, 2 games, 3, but this time round the coaches, I think, will give everyone the opportunity to play. We are playing twice. We are playing the same team twice, so everyone will get the chance to play.
The travelling squad has made 3 changes from the side that won the previous series, and the new players in the squad, Alona Anyait, Melissa Ariakot, and Jimia Muhammad, all of whom were part of the Under-19 girls team last year.
We went to Namibia. We struggled a bit with bat. We struggled a bit with the bat, and the girls were doing well in fielding, bowling. They did well, and we came back, and we've been working on batting, their skills in batting, and I believe we are going to Kwebuka next week, and I think the girls will do well. But a little bit of change. The team I took to Namibia, I changed 3 changes. I think we wanted to take some of the girls from under-19. They get some of the experience. The way we are going to Kwebuka, and I think we are looking forward the girls will do well.
And with that, we come to the end of this edition of UBC News Tonight. You have been good company this evening. Thank you so much. I'm Laureen Masika Kazimoto. On behalf of the team working tirelessly behind the scenes, we wish you a blessed night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.